後新月台落成，乘客可經轉乘通道轉乘過海列車。
Crossing the harbour by railway nowadays is so convenient that we almost take it for granted. So convenient that more new harbour crossing connections are needed to keep up with the ever-increasing demand. Many mysteries and legends were created during the process of planning a railway, and one of them is the story of the Quarry Bay Congestion relief works. By the end of the 1980s, crossing the harbour by MTR became so popular that the Nathan Road corridor was overcrowded. The opening of the Eastern Harbour crossing in 1989 gave passengers a second option. The Kwun Tong line was extended from Kwun Tong, crossing the Victoria Harbour before meeting the Island line at Quarry Bay. Since the new platforms were underneath the Island line almost perpendicularly, passengers had to walk through a long passageway to change trains. All trains that had just crossed the harbour would first lay off passengers, then enter the turnback siding just west of Quarry Bay, before picking up passengers to Kowloon again. However, Quarry Bay Station originally wasn't meant to be an interchange station. It was only selected because the immersed tube tunnel pointed towards the station. In other words, there wasn't any choice for designers after all. So for people like me, the distance required to change trains was a disaster. From a news article by the South China Morning Post in 1995, the station, which had a design handling capacity of 36,000 passengers, was handling 30,000 passengers during the busiest hour. Even MTR Corporation realized adding more audits, escalators and stairs wouldn't relieve the overcrowding issue by much. Just 5 years after Eastern Harbour Crossing was opened, the corporation already had plans on constructing a better interchange station for the line. By coincidence, the alignment of the turnback tunnel made extending towards Tin Hau easy. The idea of upgrading Tin Hau Station into an interchange station at that point wasn't really that far-fetched, so a study about such extension was put forward in 1994. The line extension is called the Quarry Bay Extension, QBE, comprising works of the new running tunnels and the second interchange station, along with station improvement works at Quarry Bay, which forms the whole project known as the Quarry Bay Congestion Relief Works, QBR. The first option to be considered is Tin Hau. One scheme proposed to build the platforms underneath Lau Sin Street and the current-day Victoria Park swimming pool. Interesting side note though, the land where the swimming pool currently occupies was originally meant to be a children's padding pool due for completion in 1998. When plans for the extension came along, the pool project had to be put on hold and eventually scrapped. The QBE alignment would pass above Island Line running tunnels, with 2 side platforms close to street level. The station itself would saw a gigantic expansion with numerous escalators connecting platforms of the 2 lines. This option was far from perfect. Turns out the geology at the site made underground construction difficult. The cost of the 30 escalators required for this plan to work significantly increased construction and operational costs. Having a side platform configuration meant massive inconvenience for passengers during rush hours. Most important of all, the interchange time remains the same as in Quarry Bay. Even Russell Black, the project director of the time, explained a cross-platform link at Tin Hau wouldn't be feasible. No one would want a Quarry Bay 2.0. To no surprise, the idea quickly joined with other dump in the bin as soon as the first study was completed. With Tin Hau off the list, the consultant agent responsible for the project turned its attention to Fortress Hill and North Point Station.
A few moments later,
the better idea they came up with is Fortress Hill Station. 2 schemes emerged from the Fortress Hill option, the cross-platform scheme and the level change scheme. Cross-platform scheme would be the most efficient scheme to passengers, similar to the experience in Admiralty Station. First of all, let's talk about the level change scheme. Original central audit of the Island Line level required a large-scale modification, which a new transfer concourse would be constructed, connecting with 3 sets of escalators. New passageways will be constructed at the northern side, and escalators would connect concourse and the Kwun Tong Line platforms directly. Platform arrangements would be rather special, as the QBR platforms would be located east of the current Island Line platforms. The walk to change trains would be around 100 meters or 2.5 minutes, slightly better than Tin Hau. Then there's the cross-platform scheme. Station size got doubled, allocating 2 new platforms east of the current Island Line platforms, connected with central audits. New platforms would be similar to those in North Point now, which had a width of 5 meters and had a 15 meters wide central audit. More transfer passageways would also be built on the Island Line platforms. New escalators and 9-meter wide audit would be built to connect to the original concourse. A new entrance hall and mid-level concourse would also be constructed at the southern end of the station. Since the cross-platform scheme is the most beneficial in terms of attractiveness, capacity, and accessibility, it became MTR's preferred choice. However, similar to building other infrastructures, the largest concern is the cost. If building railway lines can be as simple as playing SimCity, Saiwan Hall can also be a feasible option, cause there's no MTR station anyways, isn't it? What's that? Tin Hau option is too inconvenient, meanwhile Fortress Hill option is too costly, then this only leaves us North Point as the last resort. However, railway alignment has to be changed significantly between Quarry Bay to North Point. It was much of a hassle for the design team, but they still had to move on since this was the only option. Consultant finished the QBR studies in January 1996, finalizing the North Point option. A month later, when MTR handed their proposal to the government, they gave the following 5 reasons to do so. A more convenient transfer for passengers, lowest construction cost among all options, shorter construction time than Fortress Hill option, easier construction of the future North Island Line, and less interface with existing MTR facilities. December 1996. QBR along with the MTR Cheung Kwan O extension was approved by the Executive Council. The construction of the QBR commenced in September 1997. Designs can still be amended before the final product is completed. The feasibility report of the QBE has stated that the line will ultimately terminate near Exhibition Center. It's just simply a matter of time. They had this plan because at the time, it was believed that the North Island Line would be completed within the next decade. When the North Point option was finally confirmed in 1996, the alignment of the turnback tunnels pointed towards south of Fortress Hill Station, with provision for it to be extended towards Exhibition Center by passing it beneath the Island Line. The consultant firm proposed the North Island Line swap scheme concept in 1997, which had a long-lasting effect on altering railway plans for the northern shore of Hong Kong Island. By modifying the alignment of the turnback tunnels, the new design allows a direct connection with Island Line's main line. Trains from Cheung Kwan O could travel directly into the heart of the central district. Had the swap scheme been implemented, then those of you who are living in Cheung Kwan O wouldn't have to sprint from one platform to another to change trains like me. The swap scheme was so efficient on paper that the MTR accepted this suggestion not long after it was proposed. One piece of the evidence can be found in the early designs of the flashing system map. System map design with swap scheme appeared in drawings dated September 1997. After 4 years of hard work, Quarry Bay Station was opened to the public on the 27th of September 2001, a milestone towards the end of the QBR project. Well, turns out it never ended. Tracks and facilities inside the Quarry Bay turnback siding were to be removed, then the tunnel itself would be refilled if everything runs according to schedule. Turns out they only got as far as removing the stuff. the refilling never happened. Of course, the team didn't just simply forget it. They had good reason. The running tunnels from Lam Tin to Quarry Bay Turnback siding was not owned by the MTR during the works. Instead, it was the New Hong Kong Tunnel Company Limited, the company who managed the Eastern Harbour Crossing. Ownership had only transferred back to MTR when the franchise expired in 2008. This meant all modification fees of the turnback siding was paid by the tunnel company. Since refilling the tunnel would not bring any benefits, while with extra costs, leaving it abandoned was the cheapest option. Quarry Bay Congestion Relief Works is just one of Hong Kong's rail planning stories. Next time on Rail Planning Explained, we dive into the urban legend of the North Island Line. Which scheme will they finally proceed with? Or will it ever be completed? Subscribe so you won't miss it.